This is the Cubs Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Locked On Cubs Postcast here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Joe George here with you as always on all social media platforms at Joe George Radio. And the Cubs get the win 6-1. At least we get to hear the song once in this series against the Cincinnati Reds. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money using code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. All right, we got a lot to go through in this game. Besides the fact it's great the Cubs won, didn't get swept. Still have not been swept in a 3-game series this season. Brewers fans and Reds fans couldn't stay out of my TikTok mentions last night, trying to remind everyone about what happened in Japan earlier this year. But we'll talk about Cade Horton. We'll talk about Seiya Suzuki. We'll talk about Andrew Kittredge, what we saw in this game. There's a lot of really positive stuff and things that give you hope. I know there's a lot of there's not a lot of people that don't have it. And last night I felt like I didn't have it when the show was going on. After the game, frustration was boiling over for me with the way the Cubs have played in the first 2 games of this series. But you need stoppers. And right now, Cade Horton is a stopper. He was phenomenal in this game. 5 2/3 sets a franchise record in this game. The longest scoreless inning streak for a rookie Cubs pitcher since 1920. I mean, he was just all over the Reds in this one. I mean, he was attacking the strike zone nonstop. He clearly knew he had an advantage with the way the wind was blowing, and he wasn't afraid to attack. And he has just been so impressive. You think about what, your prospects and who you want to see come up and develop and all these different things. But Cade really, I almost feel like he's the forgotten guy right now on the Cubs in a lot of ways, because we focus so much on the lineup, whether it's the negatives or the positives, like what PCA and Bush have done this season, and Seiya Suzuki being an all-star and hopefully breaking out of his post-all-star break slump here in this game. But Cade Horton has been phenomenal for the Cubs. He's kind of everything that's been promised, honestly, for this team. And I was doing a quick search on Twitter just to make sure I got the innings count accurate for that, because he had set it at 21 2/3. Was the original rookie mark, passing Kerry Wood in this game. But there was a lot of people upset he left early. My quick thought on that, leaving after 67 pitches in this game. Look, Cade Horton in the last 2 seasons combined threw 122 2/3 innings in 2 seasons. This year, I've got him at 102 2/3 between the minors and the majors. So I'm not surprised that this is the path the Cubs have taken. And you know what? I like it. I think this is the right decision. Even though people want to see Cade Horton finish it, first of all, it works out great. Drew Pomeranz comes in, flips around Ellie De La Cruz, strikes him out, inning is over. But also, the way Cade is pitching right now, he's the guy after Shota and Boyd in the playoffs right now. I mean, which sounds crazy, but he has been consistently good for the Chicago Cubs, and he did it again in this one. I'm supposed to play the sounder before, but I forgot to. So Cade Horton is our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
The other guy who you could give credit to and also say maybe co-player of the game a little bit, Seiya Suzuki, who's obviously been one of your core guys who's been struggling mightily post All-Star break. Gets the day off, an actual full day off this time, like Kyle Tucker got in this game. And Seiya Suzuki was ripping the baseball all over the field. Tons of hard contact. It's not just that the sac fly was very positive, because it was, and the home run was awesome. That's great. But it's just in all of his at-bats, he was making great contact at the plate today. Hopefully, that's a sign of things to come. And hopefully Kyle Tucker, with 2 days off in a row, can be something that can progress him moving forward. Because Suzuki, it's been, look, this lineup, like where they've been, it's a bunch of guys. But Suzuki, to me, is at the top of the list, along with Tucker, of why the Cubs are in the position they are at this moment as we're live here, 3.5 games back of the division. We'll wait to see what happens with the Brewers in tonight's game. But seeing that from Seiya Suzuki today was just very, very positive. So I'm like, can't say he's all the way back, but can it be potentially the thing that sparks him? Yes, it can be. And hopefully we'll see it this weekend. Look, you're got an off day on Thursday before you play the Cardinals, and then you play the Blue Jays. Like, this upcoming series is one that is very important for the Cubs, because that 5-game series is right around the corner with the Milwaukee Brewers. It's only basically a week away, a week and a half away at this point. And if the Cubs are going to have a chance to take back the division through that series, then you got to win this. It's got to start with this one this weekend against St. Louis. So really positive stuff from Cade Horton, really positive stuff from Seiya Suzuki, and hopefully this can just get him rolling a little bit as well. Also, Justin Turner. Look, I think we've all talked about this on this show, and I've heard Matt and Sam talk about it. Like, Justin Turner is not, did not do himself a lot of favors today, but in the role he was today, helping put Nico Horner at third base so Seiya Suzuki could bring him home on the sac fly, and batting second in the lineup was I was a little surprised when I saw the card of what the Cubs were going to be doing today. I wasn't surprised to not see Kyle Tucker in the lineup. Felt like it was inevitable that was going to happen. But look, so this is all, it's mostly all good stuff coming out of this one. We'll talk about Andrew Kittredge and what happened for him out of the break. But the other thing just to note from before the game, it does sound like the expectation is that Miguel Amaya will be returning to the Cubs against the Toronto Blue Jays on Tuesday in some capacity. Now, we think about what Carson Kelly has been doing as late. Reese McGuire. Yes, Carson Kelly had an RBI single, which Turner came all the way from second to score. He's been scuffling a little bit too. Feel like he's rolling over on the ball a lot. So Miguel Amaya, another thing that, coming back Tuesday could be a real positive thing for the Cubs. And as they try to get this thing going, I think he's going to be an important piece for the Cubs. So we'll see him hopefully as early as Tuesday in this one, or at least for the Cubs. All right, we'll take our break here. When we get back, we'll talk about Andrew Kittredge's bounce back performance in this one, plus your comments and reactions as well to today's game and how you're just feeling after this series that the Cubs lost, but at least they did not get swept. That's all coming up next year on the Locked On Cubs postcast on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Today's episode is brought to you by Gameday Hue. Gameday Hue makes clean, no-logo gear with team-inspired colorways for every pro and college fan base. It's all about letting your colors speak for you. No giant logos, just smart, versatile style that works on game day, on the course, or anywhere in between. You can represent, again, like your favorite teams. I've got mine on the way. I want a throwback here. I went with my high school colors. Now, they're also the same colors as like my favorite sports teams, basically in Chicago, so it kind of works out for me. But right now, you can get 15% off with code MLB15 at GamedayHue.com. That's GamedayHue.com. That code even stacks on bundle deals, so now is the time to load up. And don't forget, they also have their split shade gloves made for the golf course. Let your colors talk, because colors speak louder than words. That's GamedayHue.com, code MLB15. Today's episode is also brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center, so you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Look, my wife and I, we share our finances, and it's easy to track that all with Monarch Money. We've got, different accounts and things like that still going on. So it's nice to have at least one place that everything can look nice and simple. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. All right, Andrew Kittredge in this one. Obviously a rough outing in his last appearance for the Cubs. So he's had 3 appearances. One's been good, one's been bad, and one's been immaculate. And that's what he was in this game. 3 batters, 3 strikeouts, 9 pitches, 9 strikes. Awesome to see. Something you don't see very often in baseball. I was trying to remember after it happened how often this actually occurs. So he's the 3rd Cubs pitcher of my lifetime to do this. I was born in 92. So the last 2 pitchers before Kittredge to do this were Hayden Wesneski in 2022 and LaTroy Hawkins in 2004. And it looks like he is the 116th or 117th pitcher in Major League Baseball history to accomplish throwing an immaculate inning. The Wikipedia wasn't totally the numbers weren't added on Wikipedia, so that's why I'm not sure if it's 116 or 117. But you think about immaculate innings, it's something that doesn't get talked about in baseball very often. It's not obviously held in the same standard of a no-hitter and a multi-home run, like a 4 home run game or anything like that. And yeah, I get why it's only 3 guys, but it's 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. And when you look at the numbers, again, it's either 116 or 117 in MLB history. If you include the combined no-hitters, there's 326 no-hitters in Major League Baseball history. So there's about half of Major League Baseball history compared to the 2 of them. So really cool thing to see. And look, again, also shout out to the Cubs fans for how crazy and loud it was there today, because I know we all kind of get wrapped up in the bubble wrap that is, the shows we do and what you see on social media. But as bad as the Cubs are playing, Wednesday afternoon, packed house, loud as can be. I mean, it was bumping there at Wrigley Field, it looked like. And again, I said this at the beginning of the show. It was just nice to hear the song at the end of the broadcast. But it was just a wonderful day for the Cubs. Yeah, Mark says I'm comparing an entire game to a single inning. Yeah, I know, but there's only been 117 of these immaculate innings. There's been way more no hitters, and there was almost no hitter today. Boog jinxed it apparently during the broadcast. So look, this is an all around positive way to end this series, and all Cubs fans I think we can do at this point is hope for the best. That seeing something like the Nico Horner check swing that brings in a run in this game, and that could be something that is like, okay, luck is back on the Cubs side a little bit. Seeing Seiya Suzuki, play well in this one. Seeing Dansby Swanson with the home run, who I haven't mentioned yet in this game. Like, the hope is just that they can get this thing rolling just a little bit, and the Cubs offense can get back on track. Because again, this upcoming series versus the Cardinals, you got to take at least 2 out of 3. You have to win this series this weekend, because as hard as as impossible as it seems for the Brewers to keep up the pace that they're currently on, they just aren't slowing down. Like we're not seeing this team, the Brewers, at any point really hit any kind of rut. They had one 2 weeks ago before the Cubs series, and they immediately bounced out of that and have just been rolling again ever since. So if the Cubs want to really have a chance to get back in this division, they have to just start playing better baseball collectively as a group. And it starts on Friday with Boyd on the mound. See, Mike here says they will slow down. I want to believe it, but I mean, look, this team they're red hot at the right time. I mean, it's to go from 6.5 back to 4 up, or I guess at this moment 3.5 up in the division. It feels unsustainable, but the Cubs have also, have done their part in playing, 500 baseball relatively over the last 2 months, and, have already had maybe their regression to the mean. Will the Brewers have theirs, and will the Cubs have a chance to get hot again? I sure hope so. I hope they will, because if the Cubs do start playing better, they can still win this division. It's not impossible, but they just collectively have to start playing much better. So kudos to Cade Horton for his performance in this one. He's been stellar for the Cubs. Saw a couple comments in here about Rookie of the Year potentially. I don't know. Rookie of the Year is always kind of a tough one, because I feel like pitchers are often kind of overlooked unless you have like the overall, power numbers, like Paul Scenes had, obviously. So I don't know if Cade will be elevated into that category. this year. I think he's deserving. I think Cade Horton will get some love for Rookie of the Year this year. I'm just not sure that he will, have enough time. And now the thing with the innings limit, like while I'm pitched limit, I do agree with it. I do think that will kind of hold him back just a tiny bit in terms of really having a chance to pursue an accolade like the National League Rookie of the Year. All right, that will do it for this episode of the Locked On Cubs Postcast. Thanks for watching. Remember, you can find us here after every single game for the most part. Quick note on that. If you are watching these shows, shout out to you listening wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify. We are doing these as well for Bears games. So starting Sunday night, we're probably not going to be able to do a Cubs and a Bears show because they will end at the same time. So if I'm not here, it's because I'm doing Bears, and Matt and Sam will have you covered here on the channel instead. So thank you guys for watching. We'll be back with you on Friday night. Peace.